Hadouken! 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 Hadouken!
Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter Alpha.
Hello everyone, this is Nick from Arcade Hunters, and this is the first game of the Street Fighter Alpha series. And of course, this is Street Fighter Alpha 1 Warrior's Dreams, or if you played this in Japan or anywhere else that wasn't in America or Europe, you know this game as Street Fighter Zero, which I think this is, personally, I think that's a better name for the game, since it's kind of, the prequel to Street Fighter, where they wanted to go back to do an origin story of where Ken and Ryu came from. There's also some new characters that we'll be talking about, and also some additions that they also did to the gameplay. And this game was released in 1995 on CPS2 hardware, but one bit of a cool thing that I actually found out while I was doing the research for this, I didn't know that they made a special CPS1 version of the game, and that was released only in Japan, that was used for the CPS system changer. That was pretty much, if anybody in the, if you guys know arcade games, you might know what a super gun is, and a super gun is used to hook up arcade boards to play them on through your TV, and the CPS changer was one that they used in, Capcom actually made in Japan to just use with CPS1 boards. So since this was released on the CPS2, they ended up downgrading the game, kind of like how what they did with Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the Super Nintendo, where they did change the sound around, which I think the CPS1 version of the music sounds a lot better than the CPS2. I guess it just has that kind of like classic Street Fighter 2 feel to it. And I'm not sure, but when I was looking up the music clips on YouTube, the person put up the clips with a box art of the Japanese Alpha Anthology, or the Zero Anthology, so I'm not sure if the Alpha 1, this version has the CPS1 music in it, but I'll definitely have to check it out after I read that. Now, there's some cool things that to note, that Birdie and Adon make a return appearance from the original Street Fighter game that came out in 1987. Guy makes his first appearance as a Street Fighter character, and here on the screen you can see Dan was introduced in the game, and this one, he's still kind of a joke fighter, but his moves do an insane amount of damage, and he's not as, I guess, much of a joke as he is in other games, but, you know, his uppercuts will really knock a lot of life out of you. And over here on the right, another brand new character, that's Rose, and also previously that you saw Charlie, or Nash as he's known in Japan, was also made their debut. Now, this game was ported on a ton of systems. It was one of the, I remember one of the launch games on the PlayStation 1, because it was in one of those gigantic boxes that everybody remembers PlayStation games from. It was also released on the Saturn, and the PS1 port was recently re-released on the PlayStation Network for everybody on there that has PlayStation Network. I'm unfortunately not on the PlayStation Network, so I haven't played this yet. So, some of the cool things that they did, they added a lot of stuff in there that kind of, they really expanded on the super combos that they added in from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbos to now, that you can go up to 3 levels. You can air block and stuff like that. There's a lot more stuff that, you know, it's kind of weird how we take it for granted now in fighting games, but this is just like stuff that they've added in. Now, as you can see on, I've been using pretty much a lot of the secret characters. This is, Bison is your final boss in the game, and in the arcade version you have to input codes to get them to use, but if you play in the Alpha Anthology, which I'm using on the PlayStation 2 right here, is if you hold the select button, it'll go randomly through the characters, and if you stop at just the right time, you'll be able to use Akuma and Bison or Dan, so you can actually play as them throughout the whole game. And it's pretty cool that they have that option. And as I said with those 3 characters, Dan and Akuma come out as special challengers, and Bison is the final boss of the game. So, one of the other cool things is that I haven't really done this. I don't know how you can access it, but it does have the cool thing called dramatic mode, where it's pretty much you can redo the fight at the end of the original Street Fighter II animated movie, where you can have a ridiculously overpowered M. Bison, and you can use Ken and Ryu to fight against him, and it's really cool. They have it in the Alpha 3 Saturn version that I wish I could get. If you guys know, friend of our site, Brian from over at Substance TV, he absolutely swears by the Alpha 3 port on the Saturn, and I wish I could review that, but I'm going to be reviewing the version that's on this Alpha Anthology. Now, you know, this game, I just have a lot of fond memories. I remember playing it back at Qzar, when the one Qzar by me in Sable, New York first opened. I remember seeing it there, and it was really cool to just, you know, play this, with a brand new Street Fighter. I remember them teasing it in BGM and stuff like that. Sushi X talking about how much he loved that the new game was coming out. So, this is Street Fighter Alpha 1, and I'll be back with Alpha 2 and Alpha 2 Gold. Thanks for watching.